Hello everyone and welcome to 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock Rock, our marathon of readings bringing together authors from all around the world, not only based in Romania, but also from Germany, the USA, France, and many other countries. We are very excited to have them all with us today. They have been generous and will spoil you with readings from poetry, prose, and drama. But without further ado, before introducing them, I will invite my co-curator, Rosie Goldsmith, to tell us a few words about the festival that we have put together and that has reached the end almost, and the meaning of the title, Romania Rocks. Why does Romania rock? Rosie?
Gabriella, I thought you'd never asked. Somebody needs to know what this title means. Anyway, lovely to see all of you. And my feet hurt so much. We've been rocking for 4 weeks now, and the blue suede shoes have worn out. So it's been incredible, this festival. And to think that we've done this in a pandemic as well, and on this little digital frame. Everybody looks absolutely gorgeous, by the way. You all look wonderful. It's so nice to have you here with us. And to rock with you, really, because I think what we've shown in these 4 weeks in so many different ways is how Romania really does rock. And the idea, though, for the title was not just that. It's because once upon a time I saw these some photos of these beautiful rocks in Romania. They're called the Trovon. And and somebody described them to me as growing, moving, breathing rocks. And I thought, actually, that's also what literature does and what we all want to do with this festival. And I think we've done it. And we've got absolutely spectacular lineup for this afternoon. I cannot believe we have so many amazing Romanian authors, poets and prose writers under one roof, literally. So yeah, I think it's quite something. And I think everybody's in for a treat this afternoon. And probably we need to explain, Gabrielle, a little bit how it's going to work, because it is a marathon. It's a marathon readathon. So how is it going to work?
Exactly. We have been really, really lucky and inspired to bring together all these fantastic authors who are going to read to you in a half-hour slot. So you will get the chance to meet 3 authors every half hour, and they will each be introduced by myself and by Rosie. We are going to start with 3 authors now, reading from Paris, Germany, Ludwigsburg, and Romania. Rosie will take over later with the next 3 authors, and we'll go on like this until later tonight, this afternoon at 4:30, respectively 6:30 Romania time. So you will get the chance to hear them reading, most of them in English, some of them in Romanian, and us will share the English translation of these texts. And don't leave. Stay until the end, because we also have some surprises for you.
Absolutely. And I think this is really, I mean, that just the quality and the number of absolutely amazing writers this afternoon. You must all stay, because it's just, you're going to be incredulous. I think you're going to be very moved as well. Some really beautiful writing.
We did want to take this opportunity to open the doors to all these amazing, talented authors and bring them together. And since we need to go through these really challenging times with a pandemic, we thought that we might as well do something good out of it and take advantage of all the technology and bring all these talented authors together. So many thanks from both of us and from our colleague Magda Stroy at the Romanian Cultural Institute and all of our team to all of the authors that joined us today.
Absolutely. So go rock, Gabriella. Sock it to them.
Thank you, Rosie. So let me first introduce the authors that you are going to listen to now. You will listen from Tatiana Țibulac, Traian Pop Traian, and Johannes Pope. And we will start with Tatiana, who is in Paris now, I think. Hello, Tatiana.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Tatiana was born in Chisinau, the Republic of Moldova, and holds a degree in journalism. She worked as a reporter, editor, and news anchor for the Moldovan television, and since 2008, she has been living in Paris. She made her debut as a writer in 2014 with a collection of short stories entitled Modern Tales. The Summer My Mother Had Green Eyes, her first novel, published in 2017, was awarded a series of international prizes and was translated in 3 languages. The Glass Garden, her second novel, brought her the European Union Prize for Literature last year. Tatiana, you have the floor.
Well, first, thank you very much for this kind invitation. I'm quite proud to be part of this wonderful event today. And I'm going to read a few pages from my last novel, The Glass Garden, with warm regards to the translator, Andrew Davidson Novosiecki. Okay. There was no morning like the one when I woke up in her bed. I slept right in the middle, like a nut in chocolate. 5 girls could have fit in with me if they had to. That's how candies live, I thought, wrapped in rustling layers until a moth eats them. At the orphanage, I only had a blanket. Mine smelled like mice, but it could have been worse. Around me, lights jumped out of things like I'd never seen before. Out of chairs, out of walls, a new world at the window, a magical beast. In the sky, treetops and birds mixed together. A voice towards me. Ты проснулась? It turns me like a key, finds an opening on the left side of my ribs. I get out of bed and suddenly have a mother. What a relief to no longer be an orphan. What fear that I could become one again. She said, Lastочка, and that became my name. It wasn't exactly a job collecting glass, but it was something. There was a ladder in Tamara Pavlovna's head, and people could climb it based on merit. On that ladder, we found ourselves below postman, but above salesman of kvass. Letters could be valuable, whereas the kvass once drunk was gone forever. Take a bottle, even empty, even pissed in, even someone else's bottle could make you rich, as long as you are not lazy or a drunkard, and we went. We knew how to collect and we collected. We collected with our hands frozen numb, with our stomachs heaving from the smell. Money out of nothing, earnings from nothing. This made her raise me, not from the first, just for more money. She was getting older, it helped, she said, but I think that she wanted was all gratitude she can have. Despite all selfish idea, she was the only mother I had. But at what cost? What good is to take a blind man to the top of a mountain? Why cover a corpse with fresh roses? The more she bought me, the less I wanted. She had heart, I won't deny it, but it was of another order than mine. Her heart wanted gold, mine wanted stars. Would she cry if she could hear what I'm saying, I wonder? I know she'd cry. Ungratefulness. This nasty bitch cuts deep. Forgive her, punish her, all the same. She didn't adopt me from the orphanage, she bought me. I learned that later, though not so much later that it didn't eat away at me for a few years. I never asked how much she paid, and I regret it now. I would have liked to exchange that money into glass bottles to know how much my life was worth. Then I would have taken those bottles, found you and smashed them over your head to break you like you broke me. I feel guilty for speaking ill of Tamara Pavlovna, and I hate you for that. Sometimes I think that if I hated you just a fraction more, my hatred would come full circle and become love. This fraction scares me the most. That's why I keep postponing everything. How many memories make a person an alcoholic? How many betrayals makes a child heart black? I shouldn't have become a doctor, I shouldn't have. Work poisons some people, but after my Tamara, it wouldn't have been right for me to be around other people's children. I see them at birth, soft and helpless, and I think, at least they will be happy, with mothers, look, and fathers, with money. When I see how they latch on to the one who gave birth to them and they suckle on her like little dogs, that is one person pain to another's hunger, cruelty. That cruelty is already in them, thriving like a red flower. Cruelty grows in a person more quickly than fingernails, than hair, than teeth. The woman who gave birth to a stillborn boy, I still went to her. She said, she feels like a mother. Death just accelerated some parts of the process. We all wind up there, the living, the dead, and all those in between. Her words took root in me and they fill my head. I still think of them. I turn them around. I want them to be true for myself and all those in between. Death does what it wants anyway. But what happens when some parts of life get away from you? When do you see that you still have flesh and strength, but life somehow sends you to the end of the line and looks at you like you're almost dead? I'm in between. Tamara's in between. My whole life was in between. I'd like to take at least 2 steps back and avoid this bitter disappointment that called itself love. There are people in this world who simply cannot live without telling stories. For them, these people always beautiful and usually insane, life needs to be a story, because only there, between its soft, enchanted ribs, can they accept evil and pain, sickness and betrayal, because they know that the story never leaves things unresolved. Even the shortest, saddest story always makes sure that things are put right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tatiana. This was very enjoyable. Thank you, and good luck with the publication of your novel in English translation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we're going to Ludwigsburg, Germany, and I'm going to introduce you to Trajan Pope Trajan. Trajan Pope Trajan is a writer, publisher, translator, and journalist living in Germany. During his studies and later on, he collaborated with rock and jazz music groups, as well as with the German State Theatre in Timișoara. He has published several books and many texts in literary journals, and 2 of his plays, The City of Mendacious Dwarfs and Nicely and Freely Watching Together, were banned by the communist regime. His short film, Traumdiktat, based on the poem Who Suspects Nothing Whatsoever, was produced in 2004. Trajan is the fresh winner of the Andreas Gryphius Literary Prize. Welcome, Trajan. Trajan is going to read to you in Romanian, and I'm going to read the English translation of his poems.
Thank you. Îți mulțumesc. Pot să citesc deja? Nu-mi dau seama dacă sunt live.
Da, yes, you can.
Circulați, vă rugăm, lui Ștefan Iordănescu. Domnul predicator vorbea frumos. Domnul ascultător vorbea frumos. Domnul, fără un statut bine precizat în economia subapreciată a țării, vorbea frumos. Putea fi cel ce tocmai se pregătea să sară dintr-o scurtă de blue jeans în uniformă, dar fără pistol și însemne militare. Sau cel ce, alungat de uniforma cu centură, portarță și pistol, tremura de frig în lărgimea paltonului de motar. Ce mama măsii, eu fi apucat pe toți de vorbea așa de frumos. În timp ce noi nu găseam altceva mai bun decât să împletim părul deja încălcit al circulației pietonale.
Move on, please. The preacher spoke in a mannered fashion. The listener spoke in a mannered fashion. The gentleman with no clear assignment in the underestimated economy of the evening spoke in a mannered fashion. He could be that very one ready to jump out of a blue jeans jacket into a regular uniform, though without a handgun and other military insignia, or that one who, having just gotten rid of his uniform with its diagonal belt, map holder, and pistol, was shivering with cold in a loose, outmoded overcoat. What the heck has happened to them, all that they started speaking in such a mannered fashion, while we didn't find anything better to do but to braid in and out the already tangled hairs of the pedestrian traffic.
Cine întreabă? Cântăreții n-au cântat. Profesorii n-au ferit. Învățăcei n-au învățat. Scriitorii n-au scris. Pictorii n-au pictat. Militarii n-au militat. Activiștii n-au activat. Zeroșii nu și-au dat silința. Leneșii n-au leneșit. Teroriștii n-au terorizat. Ceilalți, cum să respire? Negăsind altceva mai acătării de făcut, și-au tras câte un baston în cap sau pe spate. Și-au pus cătușele și-au urcat în dubele poliției. Cine n-a încăput, a prins câte un glonț. Ba în picior, ba în piept, ba în cap. Uite așa, să se mire cine întreabă.
To whomever might ask, the singers did not sing, the teachers did not preach, the students did not do their homework, the writers did not write, the artists did not paint, the military did not militate, the activists did not take action, the zealots did not try hard enough, the slothful did not idle their time away, the terrorists did not spread terror, the others, how should one call them, not finding something outstanding to do, hit themselves hard with a truncheon across their skulls, or maybe they handcuffed themselves and got into the police van, whoever could not find room in there caught a bullet in the leg or in the chest or in the head. It did not matter where, just for the sake of providing sensational stuff to whomever may ask. And I'm going to read a few more of Johannes Pope's poems. Excruciating pain. At the end of each day, the game looks more interesting. Yesterday, I made myself a shirt out of the adhesive wallpaper in the guest room. Through the wound in one wall, I'm peering inside the night's belly. The only sight granted to me is a stone table on which a death-like figure, big with child lies, waiting for the obstetrician's decree. Here's a handsome, stalwart fellow. The latter mumbles while carefully examining the blunt instrument which the yet unborn has been aiming at the stethoscope's hardened auscultation cup. The cross on the hilltop. To my fellow human being who knows everything. From a certain vantage point, the sun is first rising on his street and does not dare moving on someplace else until it has gotten his permission. He doesn't seem to be a specialist in slaughtering horses, although he cuts them up piecemeal, putting to shame the butcher of the season. Neither is he a foal while he's milking the noon's mares, nor is he a farrier. Yet he's showing even the dead horses of the year. Nor is he a barber, yet he's trimming all the hills around. He's got no teeth, yet he mortally bites all the dogs in the village. Barking he does not, except at the only lamp that is on, in spite the daylight hidden behind your glasses. Nobody has questioned him about the speech. He doesn't seem to care. Hey, where have you hidden my dark stallions for what I want to ride you on? More time did he shout as loud as he could, yet not enough to last him to see the alluring hand of the night urging him to climb beside her on the sweaty saddle whose stench would have revealed to you odds and ends by the dozen. Thank you very much, Traian. It was great to have you with us. We will continue now with Johannes Pope, who unfortunately could not be with us live, but he will read to us from Bucharest. Johannes Pope is a poet and publicist. He made his debut in 1994 with the volume Eudul fără ieșire, No Way Out of Hadesburg, which received multiple awards and was also published by the University of Plymouth Press in the UK in 2010 in the English translation of Adam Sorkin and Lydia Vianu. He has remained a critical and socially engaged poet and is known as an analyst of communist and post-communist Romania, and he is also the recipient of numerous national and international awards. He will be reading in Romanian and English. So let's listen to him.
Ca o amară, mare pasăre marină, nenorocul plutește peste căminele de nefamiliști din strada Ortețului 15. Aici nu stau decât doar cei ca noi. Aici viața se bea și moartea se uită. Like a big, bitter bird of the sea, misfortune hovers over the bachelor's dorm at 15 Oltețului Street. Here live only people like us. Here life is for drinking and that is forgotten. Am angajat nene 2 de la camera 24. Se roagă pentru noi zi și noapte. O să fim precis iertați. Putem bea în continuare. We hire 2 guys from room 24. Look, man, they pray for us night and day. We'll be forgiven. No doubt about it. We can keep drinking. Ne trezim într-o zi vii și nu știm ce-i cu noi. Și zicem la ce? Și ei zic, mâine, poimâine aveți prima înfățișare. Trebuie să vă pregătiți să vorbiți. Aveți grijă ce spuneți. Tot ce spuneți este în defavoarea voastră. Aici este Eudul. Ori unde ați fugi este Eudul. One day we are awakened and hardly know who we are. And we say why, and they say soon you'll have your first hearing. You must be prepared to speak. Be very careful what you say. Whatever you say in court will be held against you. This is Hadesburg, and anywhere you run to will be Hadesburg. Batem în uși să ne deschidă, să ne lase să ieșim, dar cei de acolo nu ne aud și bat și ei în uși, să-i deschidem, să iasă. Și când se deschide, dăm tot peste noi. Dar nu ne luăm în seamă și zicem, noi vrem să ieșim. Și îi zic, vrem să intrăm. Nu luați cu voi ușă. Nu o să avem ce descuia la ieșire. O să rămână gol în perete. Nu o să avem pe unde ieși. We bang on the doors with our fists to let us out, but whoever's out there can't hear us, and They are also banging on the doors to be let in. When the doors are finally open, we find ourselves, but don't recognize ourselves, and we say we want out. They say we want in. Don't take the door away with you. What will we unlock when we got out? Only a hole in the wall will remain. We won't have any way to go out. La 10 ani mi-au cumpărat primii pantofi. Erau lungi și galbeni ca niște sicrie. Nu i-am purtat niciodată. M-au pedepsit mulți ani pentru asta. N-am mai râs de atunci. Mâna mea a început să scrie. When I was 10, they bought me my first shoes. They were long and yellow like coffins. I never wore them. They punished me many years for that. I stopped laughing then, and my hand began to write. Sunt un bărbat singur. Nu-i nicio mândrie în asta. Doar sunt hoarde de nefericiți care umblă și caută alți nefericiți. Numai că între nefericiți și nefericiți sunt mari praguri de nefericire. Unii au bani mulți, alții au speranțe deșarte. Nu există doar nefericiți de un singur fel. Iar când totuși se unesc nefericiții, fac revoluții, după care li se ia totul. I am a man alone, no pride in that. Lots of poor SOBs go about searching for other unlucky like themselves. But between this yo-yo and that are many degrees of unhappiness. One's got a lot of money, another nothing more than empty hopes. Only the unfortunate exists, of every possible sort. And when, despite all this, they unite, the poor slobs make revolutions after which everything gets taken away from them. Fericite sunt țările care nu există și popoarele care nu se vor naște. Happy are countries that do not exist, and peoples who won't be born. Om singur lângă om singur. Așa se încheie păcile și bătăliile. A man alone beside a man alone. This is how war and peace are
And hello, this is Rosie Goldsmith again, welcoming you to the next 30-minute section of our wonderful readings from Romanian authors, actually all over the world. But this time we actually have a Romanian author who's actually in Romania too, which is also good. And we have Sorkin Gergut. You can see Sorkin there in brown. Wave, Sorkin, hi. And we have Flavia Teok as well, and Flavia's in Denmark. And we're awaiting Elinka Bernier, but I think she'll be coming very soon. And so in this section, again, we've got three authors and three authors' readings. And this particular group of authors, they're so multi-talented. They're poetry, prose, essays, short stories, and translation as well. So I'm very curious to see what they're actually going to read out today, because this is a great opportunity for them to show off their extraordinary talent. So we're going to start with Flavia, and Flavia, you're going to read some poetry, I know, but just to say, you're a poet, you write non-fiction, you're a journalist as well. Welcome to the club, journalism. That's the hard bit, I think. And then, and you've also been published in many anthologies of prose and poetry as well. And you've got one book translated into English, The Dice, and in French as well, De Mur en Mur. And you've had a lot published also in literary magazines across Europe. Obviously, we hope that as a result of this incredible marathon and your reading, we'll get more in English, because that's what we want. Anyway, Flavia, over to you, Flavia Teok, and you're going to read some poetry.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I'm so happy to be a part of such an incredible event. I'm going to read 4 poems from my book, Experiment at the Circus, published this year in Denmark. And all of them are about special places and special memories, which I use as a springboard for detailed imagery and emotion. So first of them, First Fisherman. My fjord was cut from another fjord in the rain that smoothed all curves, and islands collide with each other. Here, buses move straight forward, cutting the night with their blue headlights. But up there, you can get seasick only thinking of so much dark. My fjord was broken from another fjord. He's still young, and when it snows, he's hiding like birds in the leaves. But still, I began to grieve the death of the first fisherman who would fall into his depths. Constantinople. More fragrant than the worthy ones, perfect in all of their ways, are the grapes slowly growing sour on a vendor stall in Yeribatan. Under their cracked skin, a sweet potion of sounds is purified, memories from back when they were early sour berries, or even less, an equal proportion mixture of screams from a woman flogged up against the vine, the bell of a leper who took shelter in the split leaves shadow one late afternoon, and a stray dog's quick nap nearby. I'm telling you, more fragrant are the grapes slowly growing sour on a vendor stall in Yeribatan, for those perfect in all their ways will never touch them. The Stone Age. In the beginning, the ancestor of Dionysos carried on his shoulder a giant lizard, which he prevented to become a bird. Day after day, he shook his head, avoiding her bites, inventing the art of calculating the distances with clearness, which we are calling now dance. This fear has kept him attentive and young, has led him to shelter of leaves, where the inner voices turned into a vivid grammar, like a celestial home, understood by the experience of senses. When the bird touched up the sky one fine day, the ancestor of Dionysus has barely begun to utter his first word, stay. The flowers of the fjords are short and final prayers. The screaming bear of the mountains cannot trample on them. The flowers of the fjord practice the run through the roots, the permafrost, and the depths of the fire to the other side of the world, where they blossom at the feet of the pyramids. The eagle of the sky does not nibble their eyes. The flowers of the fjord dream asleep by Cheops, Kefres, and Mykerinos, showing them the snow and the creatures of ice they have never met, and quenches their thirst with rays of sun pouring down the mountains. The flowers of the fjord do not last long between the pages of a notebook. Their sharp petals penetrate the letters and steal your words, planting on your own lips short and final prayers. In the silence of their shade, the hand of the craftsman moving the ships over the sea will kindly touch your forehead. And the last one, experiment at the circus. You put two lions face to face, one with a dark mane torn up by arrows, the other with a strong and painful voice, like a tight bone fracture. Around them, the white and freckled flesh of the crowd, for whom they would turn head over heels on hearing a string of clearly uttered words. If the spectator in the first row hadn't beaten with his finger the rhythm of a strange tune, the tune of the eyeballs staring at him from a beer mug, stirred and hot liquid supplied through thin pipes all across the green dream of a barren field. And all of a sudden the beasts become attentive, sagacious, a light flickers on their faces. They remember the spell of pyramids, the water, the coolness, the antelope with blue lips, hunted by their ancestors once upon a time. The antelope that was fearlessly looking at them now from the first row, so close where they would have least expected it. Thank you.
Flavia, that was really, really lovely. Now, who translated those?
Actually, I have translated them.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, they're really beautiful because I love how you tell stories in your poetry. There's a story in each poem.
Yes, and as I said, I use my own experiences and memories as a base, a springboard for detailed imagery and emotions in my poetry.
Well, and is that part of an anthology then? You said.
Yes, it's an anthology I have just published. Yes, in English and Denmark. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, and thank you so much for being part of this. It's really exceptional quality, just beautiful poetry. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you as well for having me.
Bye, Flavia.
Bye.
And speaking of translation, we have a poet who's also a translator and does many things. We have Sorkin Gergut, who is going to read for us now. Sorkin, tell us about the translation you do as well. You translate from English into Romanian.
Yes, hello. I'm glad to be here, even if I'm home. I translated William Burroughs, a weird book by Bob Dylan, his only novel, Tarantula. Paul Auster, Charles Bukowski also.
Amazing group of people. I think you use the word weird. There are a few. Some of those authors have written very weird things. So I'm sure it was an interesting translation process for you. Anyway, and you also write your own poetry. So this is, this is what you're going to be reading for us now. And yes. How long have you been writing poetry?
Well, since childhood, but in a more sustained manner since the 90s, let's say.
Wonderful. And you're going to read from an anthology now, or are these recent poems? Tell us a little bit about what you're going to read.
That's not that recent, but luckily they were translated by Florin Bican, himself a writer and outstanding translator. I'm even afraid that upon hearing the translations made by Mr. Bican, one might find the Romanian originals slightly boring, but I am all the more grateful for having them.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I'm really looking forward to it. So Sorin Gegut, over to you, and you're going to be reading in Romanian and in English. Is that right?
In English, just in English.
In English. Well, enjoy, and thank you very, very much for participating in this.
Thank you for inviting me.
Over to you. Over to you.
Okay. Oh, Borex, I'm neither ugly nor am I a creep. The thing is, I'm in constant need of sleep. But I'll take a long break, and when I do awake, verily I say unto you guys, you'll be in for a big, big surprise. No man's land art. Traveling generally falls under two categories, inside and outside frontiers. However, someone may feel inclined to travel on the frontiers, along them. Nonetheless, in order to do that, one needs to carry a gun, a special uniform, and to be officially called a frontier guard. Yet, frontier guards only cover one frontier, just one and the same stretch as a rule. With the right set of documents, we assume it might just be possible, if you are trustworthy enough, to cover several frontiers in succession. Still, there is not much to be seen on a frontier. Some frontiers, it is said, do present a strategic importance. Occasionally, you might come across people living interesting lives over there. Smugglers, illegal immigrant guides. Jonah. He went up to Nineveh. Them guys repented that very hour. The Lord did forgive them, and Jonah was sour. He'd cuss and he'd wail. Man names dragged through the mire, got hold of a sharp nail and punctured God's tire. OG. Genitalia are, as they shine, amongst many a star, yours and mine. Throbbing aloft amongst astral flowers, in the sky, oh, so soft, they are all ours. Frigo. You've no idea how the world around gets simplified in the freezing compound. There's just one thing, though, I'm hoping for, to make it all in one piece through my fridge door. One thing alone would fill me with disgust, ending up not in ice, but in dust. Earth. Excerpts from the Land Registry. Blue and brown don't match. It's one of those combinations fashion experts most strongly advised against. Our planet, also known as the blue planet, is named Earth. Earth is a substance, brown par excellence. Blue comes from the color of water, which is predominant. Earth probably hints at the fact that we live, by and large, on dry land. We thereby live on Earth 2 times over. On the one hand, on the superordinate Terra, with its oceans, shores, and inland, and on the other, on terra firma, directly on the ground, on Earth in very rural zones, or on concrete floors, pavements, under which, at a certain depth, there's always Earth. Earth crisscrossed by roads and borders. All in all, our celestial body couldn't be taken for a benchmark in stylishness. At least not at this particular moment, because fashion changes. And the last one, penalty. I'm called to strike a penalty kick. A car takes me to the airport. On the plane, I fall asleep and I'm unable to figure out how long I flew for. 2 or 3 hours, 4, more. Another car is picking me and taking me to the stadium. I put on the equipment on the road to save time. boots and shorts. I leave on the t-shirt I already had on under my shirt since morning. When I arrive, the field is empty. The spectators left. As I'm wondering what to do, I notice the goalkeeper coming from somewhere behind the goal, cigarette in hand, from which he draws a smoke and then throws it away. I know how to kick a good penalty. With force towards the square, the goalie doesn't stand a chance. It's been some time since my last encounter with the ball, but there shouldn't be a problem. By the way, where's the ball? There it is, under one of the substitutes' bench. I start toward it, but man, it happens like in the tale Youth Without Age and Life Without Death. With every step I take, my strength gives out a little. When I reach the bench, I can hardly breathe. I have to sit down.
Sorry, that is so powerful. I actually find that really moving. And you know what I'm thinking, just hearing these few writers we've already had so far, I think, you know what we should do? We should publish an anthology of all the writers, you know, reading this afternoon. Wouldn't that be amazing? Some publisher should come along and just say, we're going to publish everything you're hearing today. I think that's really fantastic. And thank you for the fashion advice. That was
fiction. It's not to be taken effect.
I'll try not to take it seriously. I'm afraid you're speaking to the wrong person as far as fashion. I take it very personally. Soren, that's really wonderful. Thank you very, very much indeed. And we're going to see whether we have the third member of our trio, and we should be having Alinka Bernier. I think hopefully she's there. Let's have a look and see. Soren, that's really wonderful. Thank you very, very much indeed. And we're going to see whether we have the third member of our trio, and we should be having Alinka Bernier. I think hopefully she's there.
I'm here. Can you see me now?
Hi.
Hello. Good to meet you. Hello.
You too. I can hear myself twice now. That's not good.
Yeah, I had some particular technical problems.
I apologize for having me twice. Once is quite enough.
Can you see me now? Yeah, I can see. Hello? Yes, I can see you. Hello.
Let's just try and work out the audio.
I know about the sound. I haven't tested my microphone. I don't know if it's good or not.
Once is quite enough.
Can you see me now? Yeah, I can see. Yes, I can see. So can I be heard?
Try and work out the audio.
I know about the sound. I will read. Unfortunately, I can look at you when I'm reading because I have everything written on my screen, so I have to read on my screen. So can I be heard?
We're just trying to work out what's happening with the audio, I think.
I don't know about the quality of the sound.
Can you hear? There's an echo.
Written on my screen, so I have to read on my screen.
1 second, sorry. We're just trying to work out what's happening with the audio. Right, I think. Okay, we're fine. I think we're there. I think it's all fine. I think there was a clash of audio. I think there was so many poems being read that they were all floating in the air and coming together and crashing and then stopping. And no, it's anyway. It's very good to meet you, Alinka Bernier. And tell me exactly, are you in Romania?
I'm in Romania, yes, right now.
Where are you? Where exactly?
In Bucharest.
Floating in the air and coming together. Still sound. There's still lots of
yes, there is an echo all the time. I can hear plenty of sounds and voices, and it's like a ghost space. I'm in Romania, yes, right now.
I just don't think I can. I think we need to wait until it's sorted out, otherwise we won't be able to hear you properly.
No, not really. I don't have here. No, not at my computer.
I just don't think I can.
It's just like
wait until it's sorted out.
There is an interval of time that makes me. No, not on my computer. What can I do? It's just like there is an interval of time.
Hi again, everyone. Rosie and Alinka here this time. Sorry about the little interruption there, but there were lots of poems flying around in the air and they were all getting mixed up. And now we have Alinka Bene all to herself, our third reader in this particular trio. And Alinka is also multi-talented, does many, many things, writes novels, short stories, is a playwright, a screenwriter, I think, as well. And amazingly, wonderfully, enviably has her own poetry column and has published all kinds of things. A novel called Your Name and Other Heresies, and The Black Box, and a short story collection called Alma Musica. Now tell me, Alinka, what are you going to be reading from for us today?
Some of my poetry is my latest poetry, and translated by myself.
You clever, clever people. How do you do all this? So you write it and then translate it, or do you translate it first and then write it?
I'm not sure about. Sometimes I will speak straight in English. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes I think I surprise myself thinking in English, but I usually write in Romanian and I translate later. Yeah. It's
fantastic.
Only twice I wrote straight in English and then translated in Romanian.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you for joining us today, and over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. So, responsible. I've always imagined myself as an animal, one who takes himself for a human being. I've been told, no, you're delusional. This is just wishful thinking. You are and will always be but a poor human being, an unhappy creature, confused, a miserable dreamer, an outcast possessed by doubt like by a legion of demons, an idiot, contradicting himself every other day. The animal is pure. It's a perfect being. Don't lie to yourself, they told me. The animal does not do any harm. He does not make mistakes. He doesn't know anything. But your ignorance leads into madness. Your ignorance hurts, tangles, produces earthquakes. Okay, but we were born animals and we turn into people. Perhaps some succeed in avoiding the transformation I dare to guess. They laughed and laughed. Nice try. You cannot escape like this. No one is excused, lady. From the very first moment we come alive, we do not cease to fall into man, like in a deep pit, deep from which nor love or fear could ever take us out. Don't forget to buy bread. When I was a child and I studied piano, I always heard a voice in my head. Don't forget to buy bread. Don't forget. Until I gave up the instrument and I started writing, it didn't spare me. As I sat on the stool as it began, I wrote what I wrote and it started again. Now what? What do you want from me? I would slap it in the face, but it's a voice, no matter how annoying would be voices, cannot be grabbed by the collar and thrown out in the street. I bought bread for an entire neighborhood. I kept buying bread, and it didn't leave me. As I sit at the desk, it starts again. See, you always forget to buy bread. Yeah, you're right, bloody voice, you're right, I'm a loser. An unbearable one. I have an ugly and lazy character. I am capricious and passionate. I had difficult teenage and an even more terrible youth. Leave me alone. I've only been eating raw vegetables for 10 years. I also quit smoking a long time ago. And music. I don't even write seriously. I'm just pretending like when I was a kid and I was imitating handwriting, putting down on paper lines and curves without meaning. Even now my words make no sense. I know I do nothing else but to carry crates full of bread, as high as the church walls, and I have no one to feed. Carved in the blood, the feeling of you compensates everything, the coldness, the hard labor, the annoying kindness or fury of those ones who take me for another. Even the fear, whenever I'm lost, I hang on your touch at the moment when it separates light from darkness. Beast. You want to be able to protect him from predators and merciless machines, to protect him from those who crawl, from concrete, from the music trapped between iron bars, from the moan of the days passing in vain, from the tearing of flesh, from earthquake, from avalanches, from aggressors, from slaughter and fire, from loneliness, crowds, tortures, curse, from getting disgusting, from the taste of nothingness, from exhausting work, from strangers and relatives, to relieve him of pain, of sorrow, of disgrace. You want to protect him from the monster that could jump at any time, from the darkness gathered in his chest. You imagine him tormented, mocked. You fight fiercely to quench the hunger of the beast that orders you to be a mother. Wound. A wound ready to bleed lurks in every smile. There are wounds through which the end of everything can be seen. Wounds dried for a long time, under which the storm trembles. Wounds like dark ditches, from which who knows what can come out. Fine skin is easier to hurt. Blood will flow from every caress and enchanting touch. Wounds are not what they seem. Wounds can nourish, they can bring peace. Wounds drive away illusions and evil spirits. The wounds lead to sleep and rest. All beauty draws its sap from a wound. There where are no injuries, there is no lust either. A woman's sex is a wound from which life erupts like a continuous fantasy. Essential matters. Let's wear only skins made of deep longing, and never tell long stories with big pun. Let's be the sense-free sailors of becoming, the fools that prophets mock with every bond. There is no room for battles between us, no place for glamour or for desert freedoms, only for quietness, for fire, for rains fast, and for the haunting sound of waves. The world would not get close to our grove. There is no place for trades, no time for noise. No lover needs to understand what's love, no happy fellow claims the right of choice. The city wants to speak its rampant grief in my own tongue while piercing through my chest. But I won't carry on a false relief. I keep the silence like under arrest. It makes no sense invoking the mistrust, the disappointment, or the tempting face of all those things that turn next day to dust. There is no point in naming the disgrace. I leave the words unspoken place for vows, so that the wind to pierce through their muteness, and to be heard while opening the windows. Maples grows to be seen with clearness. Only essential matters I'm asking willingly. He took the tea. What does he mean by tie? How is he dressed? His beard has grown widely. The light of sunrise ever made him cry?
Linka, you've nearly made me cry there. This is just beautiful. So much pain and life and grief and beauty in that. And the fact that you've written and translated these yourselves, it's exceptional.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
I'm
joining.
doing a project now as a translator with Dunia Mikhail. If you know her, she's a famous poet from Iraq, and she lives in the USA. She teaches Arabic in Michigan University, and I'm planning with her a very big and beautiful project, and I will be her translator in Romanian.
Well, honestly, lots to look forward to, and I'm sure the Arabic will feed into the English, into the Romanian as well.
She's like me. I mean, she writes straight in English. I translated her poems in English, so it will be
something about the rhythm, though, I'm sure. Anyway, thank you so much, Ilinca Bernier, and we're staying in Romania, and we're going to Cluj now to hand over to Gabriela Mocan, who's going to lead us through the next 3 amazing authors. Thank you.
Bye.
Hello again with 3 more exciting authors. This time you're going to hear from Doina Ioanid, Răzvan Țupa, and Jorah Gurba. And we will start with Doina Ioanid, who is a poet and editor. Between 1998 and 2005, she was a teaching assistant at the French Studies Department of Transylvania University in Brașov. Since 2005, she has been senior editor for Observator Cultural, a leading Romanian cultural weekly journal. And she has published several books, and her poems have been translated into 12 languages, including English, German, and French, but also more exotic languages. It's a great pleasure to have you with us. Doina, where are you now, and what are you going to read to us?
Hello, I'm glad to be part of this festival, and I would like to thank you for your invitation. I hope you will continue with this festival. I will read from this book, written for Taming the Hedgehog Soul, Ritmuri pentru îmblânzita ricioaica. Voi citi în română și apoi cred că tu vei citi, Gabriela, în engleză.
Nu am poemele.
Oh, no.
Do you have them?
În engleză? Da, dar pregătisem în română poemele.
Pentru că eu nu le-am primit în engleză.
Ba da, ți le-am trimis, sunt în același document.
Okay, then it's fine.
Okay.
Where are you now, Doina?
I'm here, Bucharest, and I'm at home.
Okay. So we look forward to listening to you.
Prea obosită, prea mioapă, până și numele mi-alunecă, scoică zdrobită, dincolo de piele, în adâncul meu, printre țesuturile moi, printre organele pulsând ca niște sori speriați, acolo unde nimic din ce afară nu mai răzbate. Ține-mă departe de toamna asta. Ține-mă departe de oameni, departe de câmpurile cu coceni retezați. Ia-mă în brațe și ține-mă departe de mine, să nu mă pierd printre capetele hâde de bătrâne, ivite brusc în lumina serii. Ce mondanitate să fii visceral, ce lux nepermis. Viscerele nu sunt de pus în galantar. Acolo se adună miseria, meschinăria, ura și frica. Acolo e mașina detocată a bunicii, cutia cu Pandora cu tot. Acolo doarme mama, cu mulțimea ei de prietene, petege, diabetice, nevrotice înainte de vreme, cu mâinile tăiate în borcane. Acolo totul e complicat și foarte amestecat. Acolo trosnesc retortele, acolo se moare fără glorie. Acolo nimeni nu minte. Acolo în frigul umed stăm cu toții, cu chipul răsucit înăuntru, ca o mănușă întoarsă pe dos. Cu inima în mână am mers prin oraș, pășind pe prima zăpadă din anul ăsta. Și inima mea, stropită cu vin și oțet, continua să putrezească în ritmul celor 37 de ani. În timp ce coțofenele se adunau pe umărul toboșarului. Oasele singure nu mă puteau salva. Nici numele tău, Argentina, pământ al făgăduinței. Numai un câine mare și galben s-a îndurat de mine, a venit spășit și mi-a mâncat inima. Apoi a plecat, s-a îndepărtat spre orizont, ca o imensă floare a soarelui. Gurci opucătitoare, grin metalic, date cu un soare, deschizându-se și închizându-se sub cerul de vară. Dacă vrei să crești mare, trebuie să treci printre ele, mi-a zis Micale, ivindu-se de după zidul părăsit. Dar cine vrea să fie mare? Poate doar caragioșii, doar tâmpiții care cred că nu mai au încotro. Dar nu eu. Mai nou, studiile despre fericire sunt la mare preț. Poți afla tot ce dorești. Gata cu îndoielile. Studiile astea sunt mai ceva ca detectorul de metale. Precizie și eficiență. Dar care este coeficientul fericirii tale la miezul nopții? Când aricioaica vine, ți se strecoară în pat și se așează pe burta ta. Ce studiu modern ar putea măsura ronțăitul sonor ca să-l transforme în procentaj? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doina. This was lovely. And I will continue with the English translation. The texts were translated by Florin Bican.
Yes, indeed.
Chance for taming the hedgehog so. Too tired, too myopic. Even my name, a squashed clam, slowly sinks through my skin, deep within me, past soft tissues, past organs, pulsating like terrified suns, deep down to where none of the things on the outside can force their way in anymore. Keep me away from this autumn. Keep me away from the people, away from the fields bristling with stubble. Take me in your arms and keep me away from myself, lest I get lost among all these hideous heads of old women popping up in the light of the evening. Oh, the glamour of being the visceral type, the unaffordable luxury of it all. Viscera aren't meant for display in a showcase. That's where ordure builds up, the meanness, the hatred, the fear. That's where grandmother's meat grinder is, the proverbial box, Pandora and all. That's where mom falls asleep alongside a host of her friends, neurotic women with diabetes prematurely ailing, hands crisscrossed by jar scars. Everything's complicated down there and extremely mixed up. That's where crucibles crackle. That's where death comes incongruously. There, oh, there, no one lies. Down there, in the damp cold, we all huddle together, faces caved in on themselves like gloves turned inside out. Heart in hand, I've been walking all over the city, treading the first snow of the year under my feet. And my heart, sprinkled with wine and with vinegar, went on rotting away to the beat of my years, all 37 of them, while the magpies assembled on the drummer boy's shoulder. Bones alone couldn't save me, nor could your name, Argentina, you land of promise. Only a big yellow dog took pity on me, humbly walked up to me and ate up my heart, taking his time. Then he left, moving away towards the horizon like an enormous sunflower. Backbiting mouths, metallic gray and greased, snapping open and shut under the summer sky. If you want to grow up, you'll just need to be picking your way through the lot, Mikale upped and said from behind the derelict wall. But who wants to be grown up? Save the creeps or the losers, perhaps, who believe that's the only way out. Not I, though. Not I. Of late, happiness statistics have become all the rage. You can thus figure out whatever you want to. No more doubts from now on. These statistics could beat metal detectors big time, precise and efficient they are. Yet, what's the coefficient of your happiness at midnight when the hedgehog soul comes, creeps into your bed, and nestles on your belly? What modern statistics could ever quantify the resonant nibbling and convert it to a percentage?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doina, for being with us.
And I will thank you too.
We look forward to hearing more of your wonderful poetry.
Okay. Stay safe.
You too. Thank you. We are staying in Bucharest, I think, now. Am I right in presuming that Răzvan Popa? Hello?
Yes, hello, Gabriela. I'm at work in Bucharest, but I'll step outside first so where we can hear each other better, and I'll find a place where everything will go like more. Yeah, so this should be better.
It's wonderful to have you with us, Răzvan. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for the invitation.
I'm going to introduce you briefly for our followers. Răzvan Pope is a poet and journalist with a degree in the history of religions and culture. His books include Fetish, published in 2001, which won the Mihai Eminescu National Award in Romania, Romanian Bodies, 2005, and The Sky in Delft and Other Romanian Bodies, published by Max Blecher Publishing House in 2011. His poems were included in No Longer Poetry, New Romanian Poetry, an anthology published in the United Kingdom in 2007 by Haventry Press, and he performed poetry internationally in over 10 countries, including the United States. It's wonderful to have you with us, Răzvan, and I wanted to ask you for our followers, what are you going to read to us today?
Well, I'll read a poem that I've written especially for this reading, because usually I work texts in order for them to be read. So I had to work something out in English that I thought would sound better for this occasion.
This is wonderful. Looking forward to.
Yeah, it's not very long, so I also have time to show you what I see before going to a more quieter corner of the office. So let me see if I can manage here. So I think I have to turn it. It's like this.
This is lovely.
Yeah, maybe you miss seeing Bucharest. So I'll go to some place that is quieter and I'll start reading on my way. So the poem is called Romanian Tree Test. Romanian Tree Test. Everybody turns out to be a Romanian in the end when they are dead, just for fun. So this is Romanian poetry and how it is done. Anything you hear is on me, or so it is said. Its best moments are not about, but with me in a band. I knew a young Romanian involved with poetry. They used to say that the best poem should be able to kill the one you point it at. I didn't agree, dealing with it metaphorically. And now they're dead, as only dead can be. Romanian has one letter less and pieces to play a game of chess. So, this is how Romanian poetry uses me. This language has one letter less than it should to play a game with pieces of wood. And then there is only one of me, yes, because this is how it goes with Romanian poetry. It's always missing something. Usually it misses a letter. With 31 signs, our alphabet can affect you a bit, or rather terribly. This may perfectly explain why those guys from Nantes stole the antique books from that warehouse in the UK. But you may also disagree. They keep on saying I'm like a tree, and this is true, only if it turns you on emotionally. The key of my ability really lies in being you, coming alive, almost like Dracula, but without the view. I'm exactly what you didn't see up to that moment. And now you can't undo. Are we still on?
We are indeed.
Yeah, this was the poem that I prepared.
This was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Razvan, and for the performance as well, because you actually put on a whole performance.
No, I just went out from the place where my colleagues are working now for the news program, and I'll be back then.
Thank you very much again. It was lovely, and it was very special since you prepared this for the occasion, for the festival. And have a great day at work.
Thank you, thank you. I'll watch further the marathon you've prepared.
Sure. You stay
Thank
with
you
us.
for your invitation.
Thank you very much. We'll continue with Jorah Gurba, who is, I suppose, in Bucharest as well. Am I right? I think you are still muted, so you should mute the microphone.
Okay, I'm in Bucharest too, of course.
Very nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Welcome, and I'm going to introduce you briefly to our viewers. Jorah Gurba is a Romanian playwright and author, also known as a literary critic, academic, engineer, and journalist, so quite a few hats. He's known for his work in experimental theatre and his postmodernist contributions to Romanian literature. The recipient of several national awards for literature, he also translated into Romanian many plays by William Shakespeare, actually 12 plays and several sonnets, but also plays by Corneille, Machiavelli, Dario Fo, Eduardo de Filippo, and Marivaux, among others. It's wonderful to have you with us again, Jorah Gurba, and
Thank you very much.
To ask you first, what are you going to read to us today?
Thank you very much. I want to thank to the organizers of this meeting. I will read some poems from that book, The Other Shore. The Other Shore was published by Neuma Publishing House in Romania. But the poems were translated in English by my colleagues Elena Nistor and Loredana Manolache. I wanted to take them for that translation. So I will read you some of the poems from The Other Shore.
And actually, I think on the cover of your volume is the Durdle Door in the United Kingdom, isn't it? Or...
Indeed, yes. Thank you very much. So I will start with a poem named No Place. Do you light up fires in the forest? I answer, no. Do you sully the waters of our country? I say, no. Do you take drugs? Do you practice satanic rituals, zoophily, necromancy, apostasy? I deny everything. Are you in a sect? Are you a materialist? Are you a money launderer? Are you one of them? I say never. A smoker? A non-smoker. Do you gambler? No way. Do you curse at your parents? Do you beat your children? Do you defy God? Not even in my dreams. Then go to heaven, go alone, Go get the hell out of here. Leave right now. There's no place for people like you. Now another one. West Lake. In the middle of the lake, there is an island. In the middle of the island, there is a lake. On the big lake there are lotus flowers. Lotus flowers are growing on the smaller lake as well. But if there were an island in the middle of the small lake, and in the midst of it, a very small lake, lotus flowers would be growing there as well. Or maybe not. Basha's hut. Basha's hut was on a hill. Everything matters. Another one. The summons. Don't move, or I will shut. The guard shouted. Don't move, or I'll shut. He fired his gun, and the screen got smeared with blood. The stain took the shape of a butterfly, and so they have both flown into the nearest lights. If I have more time, I can read another one.
I think we have time for another one.
Okay, another one. Okay, one more, only one. Sorry. I just to find to find some. Sorry. No, I don't know. No. We just stop there. Here. Thank you very much. I have to greet Bogdan Suceava. I can see him there. Hello.
He's supporting.
Thank you very much again, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Slava has indeed joined us from the United States, supporting all the other authors reading. Thank you very much, Bogdan. He's going to read to us a little bit later. And then now passing the ball to Rosie Goldsmith in the UK for the next round of great reading.
Hi there, everyone. And I'm just checking that all systems go, and I hope you're still all rocking. I can't see any blue suede shoes anywhere. Can you hear me okay, Bogdan? Can you hear me?
Absolutely, no problem. The sound is working perfectly. It's
there
wonderful.
Welcome to Bogdan Suceava, who's in, you're in the United States. Great to meet you. And I just want to check whether we've got our other authors coming up. I think you'll probably know them. There's Denisa Komanescu. How nice to see you.
Hello, Nana. Good to see you again.
It's great to see you. And Gabrielle Botta, nice to meet you.
Hi, hello, nice to see you.
And are you, I know Denisa's in Bucharest. Are you in Bucharest or are you?
No, I'm in Cluj, Napoli.
Cluj. Oh, not far from Gabriella.
No.
Wonderful. Great. And how are we doing? Are we are we recording, or where are we, Mihai, with the events at the moment? Hello again, this is Rosie Goldsmith, and we're into the next hour, half an hour, and again we have an incredible and a very distinguished group of writers. Everybody's distinguished, but I can't underestimate how wonderful it is to see Denisa Cominescu again, first and foremost, because Denisa has already been a part of our festival. We had a publishers forum, and it was really wonderful to hear you talk then. There's been so much going on in this festival, and now we're doing even more as well. And we have Bogdan Sucheva. And where are you exactly in the United States, Bogdan?
Orange County, 40 miles southeast from LA.
Lucky you. Lucky you.
We can debate that.
Okay, maybe later over a glass or something. But for this afternoon, great to meet you, and I know so much about you, so it's really wonderful to have you. Then I'll introduce you later. And Gabrielle Botta, you're in Cluj in Romania, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you as well. And you all do such interesting things, so I'm surprised any of you has time to do any writing, but I know you do. And you're really respected for it, as so many colleagues have spoken about your work. So I'm going to focus, because I do think that ladies should go first. I really do. I'm going to focus first on Denisa Cominescu. Now, Denisa, you are so famous, so well known for your work in publishing and editing in Romania, and so many of my English language colleagues know you so well as well, because you've published their works in English.
Romanian.
And in Romanian, from English into Romanian, not necessarily self-translated, but I know that you know many of them very well, who've also participated in the festival, including Fiona Sampson. I think a lot of close friends you've had already.
And David Mitchell, yeah.
And David Mitchell, who was our first Rock Talks guest as well. So yes, no, it's been like your festival almost, but
not at all, not at all.
But many people have spoken to me about your poetry as well. So I'm really, really interested to hear you read from your poetry. And just to give people a very short introduction to you, if they don't know you already, Denisa is an award-winning poet, an editor and translator, very respected editor and publisher, has worked in several publishing houses in Romania, but has been at Humanitas fiction publishing house since 2007. She's also curated a fantastic series of world literature called Denisa's Bookshelf, which has already published, I think, 600 titles. I could take the whole of your 10-minute slot by telling people how many things you've done, but I think what we really want to do is to hear your poetry. So Denisa Cominescu, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much, Ruth. I'm going to read several poems included in 7 minutes. So I will start with Return from Exile, translated from Romanian by Adam Sorkin. 11 years, 4 months, and 17 days. Was it a short exile? This notebook isn't the same as then. I filled quite a number, somewhere large, bound between gilt covers, others small, light, made of Bible paper. At night, I touched them in secret, fingered their membrane-like pages, each time more urgently, with such insistent, insatiable desire. During the day, I didn't dare go near them. They might as well have been strangers. Later, I gave them to friends. For you, for your new book of poems, I'd tell them. This brought luck to some, or so they'd pretend. Then you arrived, after 11 years, 4 months, and 17 days. In the mornings, fearless, in the light that seems to banish death, we fill membrane after membrane, simply and naturally. When I turn a page covered with writing, Orpheus, a verse, sighs. Now a poem whose title is Pessoa. Fernando Pessoa was one of the greatest poets and writers of the 20th century. But this poem is not about Fernando Pessoa. Pessoa. We used to look together at the acacia tree along the street. Each morning, this was our moment of intimacy. Then I would leave you there on the little table in the bedroom, your green eyes riveted on the world outside. In the evening, you would wait for me beside the door. You never failed to perform the voluptuous ritual that calmed and tamed me. I have called you Fernando Pessoa since the day he brought you home, near the end of October, 8 years ago. A ball of black fur nursed with an eyedropper. For a long time, I didn't take you seriously. You simply filled the passageways between a harassed couple. In the spring, I tried to let you play on the moist, freshly spaded soil. But you hung on to my sweater so desperately that the fear in your eyes clawed its way into my heart, as if the patch of black earth circled by cement would pull us together into a deeper abyss. The first few years, I'd go away without worry, until one day he told me you'd disappeared. You spent a week clinging to the top of the acacia. The bark still shows the scars of your embrace. A child climbed the tree and tugged at one of your legs, breaking it. But somehow, you and I returned home. Often, I stroked you, and you'd begin to purr, pressing your head into the palm of my hand. When you suddenly fasten your gaze on me for long, unbroken minutes with an otherworldly light. Your presence had become indispensable to us. You brought us close again, cleansing us each day of the sticky slime clinging from the outside. At Christmas, I didn't buy a fir tree. In our window, I put a few boughs hung with ornaments. When you no longer followed the rainbow, when you no longer came out from under the heap of magazines and newspapers, the fear returned into me. I took the bowl of seashells we'd brought home from Rhodes and spread them around you. I kept close watch over you until New Year's Eve. In the sky, fireworks traced the contour of the bomb of Hiroshima. The final spasm released your body to float an instant through the air and allowed your eyes the respite to sink into the dark. The poem is translated by Adam Sorkin. And we have a couple of minutes, yeah? I'll read the poem translated by Fleur Adcock. The taming of the poem. Each time, my sheet of paper remains blank. I sit in front of it and wait. Come on, I tell myself. Now it's your time. Now you will finally hit the jackpot. How many combinations? What explosions of connotations? But this is not the right time, I tell myself. No bird has yet sung for you. Your muscles aren't trained for this new equilibrium. You've got a mouse in your kitchen. You bait the trap. Every day you must position the cheese. And every day the crafty mouse steals it without losing its head under the guillotine. You've got to adjust to the mouse and recognize that it's a creature much cleverer than you. So learn from it how to snatch the poetry. Emulate your neighbor, the mouse. And the last poem, translated by a very distinguished poet like Fleur Adcock. This is Irish. I don't know if I can pronounce her name correctly, is Eileen Nicolanine. Hibernation. I meet a line. Give me one. The hint of fire in the alfalfa. I would invent a godhead, but my mind is barren. The spirit no longer fills up a waste. But Stewart, who gave you this life in trust? With stones and clods. The earth swallows track of fire. Give me a light. Thank you.
I hope you can hear from all over the world and also from LA. I'm sure everybody is clapping. Denise, it's wonderful to have you with us. Thank you very, very much indeed. And for all your support also for all the authors and for all of us at the festival. Lovely to see you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. And from Bucharest to LA, and we're going to hear from Bogdan Suceva. And probably, I mean, everybody is fantastically interesting in this, but Bogdan is professor of mathematics. And I do wonder how you combine mathematics with publishing as much as you do. You've published 17 books apparently here, 7 novels, 2 volumes of short stories. It's an incredible output, and I wonder, you know, what combines the two in your life, Bogdan?
One day at a time.
And what's your grand plan for combining them all?
To get out of here someday, perhaps, hopefully. That's my dream now.
Anyway,
take a walk, visit London again.
Oh, wouldn't it be wonderful? It would be great to see you all in real life, but we're very lucky to have you here in our little digital screens. And Bogdan, I know that you have something special for us. I'm going to give you your full time. Everybody's got the same amount of time, just so that you're all reassured on that. Over to you, Bogdan Suceva in LA. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation and for your interest in Romanian letters. And once upon a time, there was a series at Northwestern University Press called Writings from an Unbound Europe. That was in the golden era when people used to read a lot. Okay, and the piece I selected, it's from the novel Coming from an Off-Key Time in Alistair Ian Blyth translation. And let's say this is, although inspired from life in Balkans, is dedicated to all the alpha male in the world who love their power and don't like to let it go. The story goes that from two mists merging together on the lip of a rainbow, above the mountain by the Buzăul bend in the Carpathians, was born Marian Tihomir, the young man of whom it had been lately said that he was a true prophet, perhaps even a son of God. The indubitable savior of mankind, the man who would rescue the people of Bucharest from their provincial inertia and transform that beautiful city into the promised city of light, the famed city of light for which the hermits in the wilderness prayed, for which the 1848 revolutionaries returned from their Parisian studies, for which Greater Romania was created, and for which Romanians have endured in the most precarious conditions for 2,000 years, waiting for this city to be transformed into the second Jerusalem, into the city to fulfill our highest, choicest hopes. He entered Bucharest in the autumn of '96, and the entire city was waiting for him. Everything had been ready for him, as if reality itself were a purple carpet laid at his feet, and his footfalls resounded on that carpet like the music we were all longing to hear. He entered the city riding an ass, and the friendly populace of Bucharest greeted him with olive branches and laurels, with bread and salt, with useful music and infinite hopes. The story goes that his first words in public were about Bucharest, and we listened to him and we breathed it all in, for there is nothing in this world we love more than the density of this city, the chosen place, the only place in the universe where past, present, and future meet. Blending like Bantu percussion with motifs from Mozart mixed by a DJ of genius, for each of us is that DJ of genius. It is from this city that our salvation in the world to come and our happiness in the present world originates. From here that we draw our energy and reinvigorate our blood. And the words of Marian Tihomir seem to be drawn from a poem. Behold me, for now I have reached thy door. But it was thus he spoke. It was thus he spoke of his coming, of freedom and the unleashing of energy that his entry into Bucharest had provoked. He came from afar, from a lost world, from the off-key time of our wounded, heightened senses. He now came and he spoke to us of Romania in the 30s, of glory and of freedom, of our triumph as a nation, and our rights as individuals, of our salvation in the eyes of the Lord God. Oh, how beautifully he spoke to us about the salvation of each and every one of us. He spoke to us of all those ideas to which we are so sensitive, ideas of hearing which, as soon as we encounter them in someone's talk, we are ready to blossom. For we do not blossom when we come into money, when we eat or drink, but when we come upon ideas. Many prophets has the homeland known in recent times, but none was like him. None came with arguments so lucid. None performed such convincing miracles, and none shone so brightly among us. For everything resides in charisma and style, and in the posture of the arms, where the angle of the shoulders allows room for the imperial light to filter under the armpits and strike the masses with billions of rays of stellar light. None had ever heard any other speak the way he did. He was better than the son of the Archangel Michael or any of the other prophets that have come and whom we already forgotten, prophets who have passed away forever. For many have been the prophets that Bucharest has known in all ages and in all reigns, but all have come from nowhere, and back to nowhere have they returned. All have had something to say, and of their sayings only dust and mockery have remained, regardless of what mixtures of unprecedented theories they might have concocted, or what wise counselors they might have had. From nowhere back to nowhere, so it has been, but not so much with Marian Tihomir. Upon him did we gamble on the roulette wheels of our lives, only upon him, upon his intuition, upon his world, for he was different. The story goes that he said, with this nation of madmen, you would not make any headway even if Christ himself were to make his second coming, invested with the absolute power of the Lord God, who in his great wisdom and omnipotence had nothing else to do except try to redeem the whole mankind over again, and had decided to start here. And he would not at all be certain whether he would succeed, for the starting point is everything in such enterprises. This is what they said, he said. Oh, how beautiful. Listen to me and believe me, for the storyteller is I.
Mm. I knew there'd be a punchline. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And that was translated, as you said, by Alistair Ian Blythe, who is one of our great translators, I must say. You know, we've come across him so many times in this festival. Thank you so much, Bogdan.
I love him.
We all love him.
We all love him, yeah.
We all love Alistair. We're very grateful to Alistair Ian Blythe. He can't translate fast enough for us, so the more we get, the better. Bogdan Sochev, it was such a pleasure meeting you. I've heard so much about you. It's great.
Thank you.
And let's hope we have more. And I can think of a few alpha males that might refer to that particular story. Thank you.
Okay.
No. Thank you again very much. And now, finally, in this trio, the trilogy of these three authors, we have Gabrielle Botta, who is also incredibly well known in Romania. And Gabrielle, interesting, I know your name from the Transylvania International Book Festival. So welcome to us. We like festival directors.
Thank you.
Doing this. So I hope this festival's worked as well for you. But it's lovely to meet you. And I know that you've also you're a poet. You direct this festival. You manage all kinds of cultural events, and you've published quite a lot. You've been translated quite a lot as well. I'm not going to pronounce. I'm not going to say out loud one of the names of your books because it's rude, and my mother is listening. So I'm not going to say.
It's not a problem.
It's the F word, and it's a
big love. So it's
it's short stories, and also this very quickly because I'm very aware that you've got you've got some readings to do, but you've been very active trying to raise money during the COVID crisis as well through your book. So how have you been doing that?
Yeah, actually, I was writing a book online every day, and people who wanted to read, they had to buy a story every day. So we actually have done really well, and we have helped a lot of people, and I was extremely happy that we succeeded to help somehow the hospitals and the problem we had with this pandemic.
Well, bravo to you, Gabrielle, and it just goes to show literature's not just pretty words. It can also really help people in so many ways. Thank you very much for that. And I'm going to hand over to you, and you're going to read poetry or short story. What are you choosing?
I think I will read I will read poetry. I will read 2 poems. It's something really new, because it's a new book I prepare in 2 months, I think, 2 or 3 months, which is called Pink Floyd. And I will read you 2 poems. First one, it's called Sky Gliding. So it sounds like this. Don't slip them out of your hands. Then the trainer pushed me, and I bolted towards the abyss, looking at some fluttering geese somewhere under a meringue cloud. I was 16 years old when I first did sky gliding. I was climbing Roy Hill, and I thought of my mother, who was hospitalized in a few hours, a doctor was going to make a cross section of her kidney. And I had overheard my father the night before, as he disquietedly spoke to himself and prayed, even if he didn't believe in God. I realized it was significant and dangerous. So I decided to do something perilous too, having in mind that if my mother is brave, I should be too. Therefore, I jumped 400 meters high, looking at some bloody geese, and I thought to myself, if I don't die, my mother will be fine. Probably exactly when the doctor cut into my mother's kidney, I squealed with joy above the ground, drunk with adrenaline. And everything worked perfectly until landing, when the wind kicked me in the ass. The sky glitter swelled, and I had forgotten to get my hands off my straps. And I stumbled, and I scratched my whole face. And for about 2 months, I walked without eyebrows, because they had melted on the stones. I had lost consciousness for a while, paralyzed with pain, and when I woke up, instead of geese, I saw my trainer's frozen face, who was vibrating in clouds of anger and terror. I hadn't broken anything, though it all hurt, and I was smiling underneath my blood-stained lips, as I knew that if I didn't die, my mother is also well. So this was the first one. And the second one is called Mermaids. Oi, why did you do, man? Why did you hit him? I haven't got the courage to ask the man who had a lilac mermaid on his forearm anything else. A huge-breasted mermaid tattooed in prison, as the man with the Violaceus Naiad had killed his father in his youth, and now he'd taken a pole from a wooden fence and smashed it on the dog's back. And I saw the whole thing happening through my 14-year-old helpless eyes. And I wanted to get my hands on a boulder and throw it at the mermaid man's skull. But I was terrified. I was just too afraid. It was a scalding hot summer, and it smelled like rotten mirror balls, and the dog was whimpering in pain with his broken back near a roadside. And the mermaid man left impassively, and I ran home, overwhelmed with emotions that I didn't understand. And I closed the shutters to hide the light, but the dog's pain remained within me. And when the clouds concealed the night stars, I have searched for some rat poison, over which I poured some milk in a teacup painted with pigeons. And I went to the dog over there, on that side of the road. It still was the Naiad man's shadow in shadows. The splinter pole and the dog that was breathing his last silence. I caressed his head and begged for forgiveness. And we exchanged a look of intelligence with each other. When I put the pigeon's painted teacup on his muzzle, he trustedly drank it all. And then he closed his eyes under my palm as if you would put a lid on the soul's door. I felt just as murderer as the mermaid man. I held the dog in my arms and buried him, digging a hole with the same pole that had smashed his back. And I thought to myself that, in fact, the mermaid's man sits and suffocates underground and him along with her, and I was afraid. I was afraid of my thoughts again. I started descending. The moment of morning had come, and I was running down some steps of cement. And I tripped over the emptiness inside me, and my right leg broke with a short crack, like that of a pole. I was unable to do anything. I looked sinfully at the blue sky, waiting for a lilac mermaid to appear on my forearm. Thank you.
Bravo. That was such a sonorous and hypnotic read. I think you could definitely read me to sleep with that. That is, but it's too riveting to so I'd want to stay awake. But I must say to all of you, such beautiful readings as well. So thank you, Bogdan, Gabrielle, and thank you, Denisa, very, very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's lovely to meet you. Thank
Ciao.
you. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And still over to Gabriella in Cluj, and we're going to continue with our live performances. So over to you, Gabriella. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie, and thank you to the wonderful 3 authors that have just read with you. I only wanted to say that because of Facebook restrictions, we would not be able to live stream for more than 4 hours. So we are going to take a 1-minute break now and come back in 1 minute with all the other lovely authors waiting. So stay tuned. We will be back soon.